Hello students, welcome back to another tutorial arranged by Childcare School and College. And today in this lesson we will be discussing about the tag question for standard 10, especially those who are SSC candidates. Well, this is the second part of the video. If you haven't watched the first part of the video, I would urge you to go back and watch the first part first and then come back to this one. So before we jump into the main lesson, I would like to inform you about some important details that you should keep in mind while doing this tag question. So as you know from the first video, I have told you that when we are solving tag questions, we will need an auxiliary verb and a pronoun that will make our tag. The auxiliary verb will be gotten from the sentences itself. We will have our auxiliary verb inside the sentence, in the sentence actually. And the pronoun will be basically the subject of the sentence, and it could be a pronoun by itself or could be a name or any other thing. We will use the pronoun of the name. Okay, so let's look at the pronouns first. There are plenty of rules or things that you should keep in mind while thinking about pronouns, and they are: if you find that the pronoun is in a singular form and the subject is actually the pronoun itself, the pronoun for our tag question will be as it is. If it's singular, it will also be singular. Okay, so if the subject is a pronoun itself but it's plural, we will use they for our tag question. Okay, and if the subject is actually a name, a person's name or an organization's name or whatever it is, it could be a pet's name, the pronoun that we will use for our tag would be relative to the gender of the name. Keep that in mind. Okay, introductory it and their. I hope you already know about introductory it and their. Okay, if you see that there's an introductory it or there in the sentence, the pronoun that we will use will be as it is. Okay, we will see it in the example further. If the subject is one, the pronoun will also be one. And if the subject is any one of these, like everyone, everybody, somebody, someone, nobody, no one, none, all, etc., our pronoun that we will use for the tag would be they. Okay, keep that in mind. Even though some of them might seem like third person singular subjects, but still our pronoun will be they, because we are not certain about the gender of the person. Everything. If we see everything, nothing, or something, our pronoun will be it. Again, if our subject is an abstract noun, a singular abstract noun, our pronoun will be it. And if our subject is an abstract noun, but it's plural, that means more than one abstract noun, our pronoun will be they. If our subject is a country or a baby, our pronoun will be it for the tag question. For baby, we use the pronoun it because we are not actually certain about the gender of the baby. So in that case, we will use it. Now let's jump into the examples and see how it is done. The first one says, you are clever. So here the subject is you, which is a pronoun by itself. Pronoun singular, and you can be both singular or plural because it doesn't really matter because the verb always is in the plural form. So you are clever. Our auxiliary verb is are, and the subject is you, or the pronoun is also you. So our answer will be aren't you, because the sentence is in affirmative sense, and you know that. I told you before in the first part of the video that if our sentence is in the affirmative sense or positive sense, our tag question should be in the negative sense, all right? And vice versa. If the sentence is in negative sense, our tag will be in the positive sense or affirmative sense. Second one says, Isabella is brilliant. Now, Isabella, we all know Isabella is a girl, it's a female, so the relative pronoun to the gender would be she, right? So, and we have our auxiliary verb, which is. And since it's a positive or affirmative sensing word, we will use isn't. And for Isabella, we are writing she. Isn't she? Let's move on to the third one. It says, Flower is amazing. Now flower is an object or a thing, and it seems like, you can clearly see it's singular, so our pronoun will be it, you know it already, and auxiliary verb will be is, and it's in affirmative sense. Our answer would be in negative sense. Isn't it? The fourth one says, flowers are amazing. Now this one has an exception. Here the subject is in plural sense, so our answer should also be plural. Okay, just like I said here, if the pronoun or the noun is in plural, we will use they. If the subject is plural, we will obviously use they. So our answer is aren't they. The fifth one says, there is a book on the table. Now here we have the introductory there, like this one. Introductory it and there. So we have got our there here, which is introductory there, and the pronoun will be also there. And the auxiliary verb that we see is. So our answer should be isn't there. There is a book on the table. Isn't there? The sixth one says, it is raining. So here we again have an introductory it. So our pronoun will also be as it is, which is another it. And the auxiliary verb we have here is, so it's isn't it. It's raining, isn't it? The seventh one says, everybody is present. Now we know already, everything, nothing, or everybody, any of them. Sorry, I mean everyone, everybody. If we have our subject as these words, our pronoun will be they. Okay? So everybody is present. Our pronoun will be they. Let's write the pronoun beforehand. And about the verb, here we have an exception. Even though the subject is third person singular, the verb is also singular, is, but since we are using a pronoun that is plural, our verb should also be plural. It's an exceptional case. You should really remember it. Okay, these are exceptional, especially this one. So everybody is present. Since the pronoun we are using is plural, our auxiliary verb will also be plural. And remember, this is in present tense. Our plural will also be present. And it's a be verb, so we are also using a be verb. The alternate for is should be are. Everybody is present, aren't they? Okay. In the eighth one, it says nobody was aware. Again, we have our similar rule, just like this one, everyone or nobody. So we will use the pronoun they. So for nobody, our pronoun will also be they. So I'm writing the pronoun beforehand. Now let's think about the verb or the auxiliary verb especially. Here, again, like before, the subject is third person singular, the verb is also singular, but since we are using a plural pronoun, our verb should also be plural. So for was, it should be were. Now here's something more important, which is nobody. This word nobody itself makes a negative sense. So the sentence is in negative sense. Our answer should be in affirmative sense. So we are not going to use any contracted version of not. Okay? We are only putting where. So nobody was aware. Were they? Okay? Since we are using a plural pronoun, our verb should also be plural. Okay? And since it's in past tense, the verb is also in past tense. I mean, the auxiliary verb is in the past tense. Let's move on to the ninth one. It says, nothing's perfect. Now here I have willingly done this. I've put a contracted version of S. Well, it might look like the nominative case, but even though it's not actually, sometimes we put apostrophe S just to make it look like it's an S. I mean, is actually. Is can be shortened to an apostrophe S. Okay? So, nothing's here, this apostrophe is actually an is. You should remember that. there are tricky questions like that. You should not fall into the trap and be aware about that, okay? So here it says nothing's perfect. So the auxiliary verb is, and the subject is nothing, and about nothing we know the pronoun we will be using is it. So let's write the pronoun first, and since it's an is, we will also use is, because we don't need to use plural verb over here because the pronoun is also singular, just like the subject, okay? And one more thing is that is in the present form. Our auxiliary verb will also be in the present form. The 10th one says honesty is a noble virtue. Here we have abstract noun. All right, this is also important. If you see abstract noun as a subject, our pronoun will be it. So for this word honesty, which is an abstract noun, our pronoun will be it. Honesty is a noble virtue. So here we have our auxiliary verb, and we will use it to make our tag. And since it's a positive sensing or affirmative sentence, our tag should be negative. So 10th one says honesty is a noble virtue, isn't it? That's the answer. And I have put a similar example to show you the differences. So the 11th one says honesty and truthfulness are noble virtues. Here we have two abstract nouns. In the previous one we had just one, and here we have two. Both are abstract nouns. So just like that, more than one abstract noun. If we see more than one abstract noun, our pronoun will be they. Okay. So here we have two abstract nouns. Our pronoun should be they. Now let's think about the auxiliary verb. Well, we already have a plural auxiliary verb, so we are definitely going to write aren't they. So honesty and truthfulness are noble virtues, aren't they? The baby is crying. So here we have the last rule for today. That is, if you see the name of a country or just the word baby, our pronoun should be it. So the baby is crying, where we have already put down it, and the auxiliary verb here we have is. So our answer should be isn't it, since the sentence has an affirmative sense in it. So that was all for today. There are more lessons coming in very soon. Stick to our Facebook page and YouTube channel, okay? I'll see you in the next video very soon. Until then, take care and goodbye.